This is News 3 Now at 5.
I join the Senate Democratic leader in calling on the Vice President to remove this president by immediately invoking the 25th Amendment. If the Vice President and the Cabinet do not act, the Congress may be prepared to move forward with impeachment.
A growing number of lawmakers are calling for President Trump to be removed from office either through impeachment or the 25th Amendment to the Constitution following yesterday's violent attack on our nation's capital. Political experts say invoking the 25th Amendment in this scenario would be nearly unprecedented in U.S. history.
In the past, it's been used in the case of death, illness, or medical procedures, but the timeline is complicated and would need a lot of Republican buy-in in order to make it happen. Vice President Pence and a simple majority of the cabinet would have to make a statement that the president is unfit to serve.
What exactly that means is unclear. There are no legal cases on this question. There are no precedents to draw on. There's no extensive sort of Founding Fathers style debate about the meaning of these terms. There are a few historical references, and that's all we have to work with.
Now, if that were to happen, the president could come back with his own written statement saying that he is fit to serve. And if he were to do that, it would take a 2/3 majority in both houses of Congress to overturn. But they would have 21 days before the vote, which in this case would run out his time in office. Just moments ago, the White House press secretary, Kayleigh McEnany, said the White House and President Trump have condemned the actions of his supporters after they stormed the U.S. Capitol yesterday.
And President-elect Joe Biden is calling the president out for his actions. Our Charlotte DeListe has more on what the president-elect had to say. Charlotte?
Eric and Susan, about 24 hours ago, the president asked his supporters to go home after breaching the Capitol, but he hasn't been heard from since. Meanwhile, President-elect Joe Biden is condemning the violence in D.C., calling it an unprecedented assault on our democracy. The breach resulted in the deaths of 4 people and the arrests of more than 90 people. President-elect Biden says if they were Black Lives Matter protesters, the end result would have been different.
No one can tell me that if had been a group of Black Lives Matter protesting yesterday, they wouldn't have been treated very, very differently than the mob of thugs that stormed the Capitol. We all know that's true. And it is unacceptable, totally unacceptable. The American people saw it in plain view. And I hope it sensitizes them to what we have to do.
As for the people who were arrested, the top federal prosecutor for the District of Columbia says all options are on the table when it comes to charging the Trump supporters. The acting U.S. attorney for D.C. says prosecutors plan to file 15 federal cases today. He says 40 other cases had already been charged in the District of Columbia Superior Court.
Charlotte, thank you. And what happened in the Capitol yesterday sparked a lot of conversations, not just with the president-elect, about how the pro-Trump crowd was handled in comparison to how Black Lives Matter crowds were handled during protests over the summer.
Many people are criticizing the police response. Our Jamie Perez spoke to community leaders today about the differences.
These guys were armed. Bombs were found near the Capitol this morning. At the same time, what these guys did is not what protesters are supposed to do.
What Masood Akhtar saw play out at the Capitol yesterday is something many people are calling unacceptable.
If it was carried out by a Muslim, then you're going to hear words like terrorism.
Akhtar is one of many who feels that if this crowd were filled with people of color or those supporting the Black Lives Matter movement, the outcome would have looked much different.
This is one of the issues that we have in this country, that when a similar kind of act is done by a white person or white groups, we treat them very differently.
As pro-Trump supporters marched through the halls of one of the most protected buildings in the nation, many people of color saw this as an example of white privilege.
When the leader of our country went on TV and called these folks patriots and loving people.
We love you. You're very special.
But then when you had young activists throughout this country marching to denounce police brutality, They were called thugs and criminals.
Michael Johnson, an outspoken representative for communities of color in Madison, said he saw a slow response to what happened at the Capitol. Trump supporters entering a secured area with little resistance and appearing to be taking selfies with security. He compared that to the thousands of officials who responded to the Black Lives Matter protesters over the summer who were met with resistance and force.
Yesterday, 52 people were arrested at the height of one of the Black Lives Matter protests in one single night. 488 people.
Both Akhtar and Johnson said yesterday was one of the darkest days we've experienced as a nation and hope that going forward, we can do better.
What happened, America first became America lost. America lost its credibility, and we need to work very hard over the next 4 years or beyond to restore what America stands for: equity, liberty, and equality for all.
For News 3 Now, I'm Jamie Perez.
Several members of the Trump administration have announced that they are resigning. That includes Transportation Secretary Elaine Chao. She is the first cabinet member to quit. Former White House Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney resigned today. Mulvaney was serving as special envoy to Northern Ireland. He told Secretary of State Mike Pompeo that he is leaving immediately. And the president's deputy national security advisor, Matt Pottinger, and the First Lady's Chief of Staff, former White House Press Secretary Stephanie Grisham, also, they have both resigned.
President Trump has been banned from posting on Facebook until he is out of office. The company's CEO, Mark Zuckerberg, released a statement today saying President Trump intends to use his remaining time in office to undermine the peaceful and lawful transition of power to his elected successor, Joe Biden. Facebook also said the president's account has been blocked indefinitely. Twitter and Instagram also blocked President Trump's accounts. Here's a live look tonight at the Capitol, a very different story from 24 hours ago when Trump supporters were inside and outside of it. This morning, the Pentagon activated 6,200 National Guard members to help Capitol Police and law enforcement in D.C. in the wake of the deadly riots. The Guard members will arrive over the next several days.
Meanwhile, earlier today, workers installed 7-foot unscalable fences around the U.S. Capitol building, and those fences will remain up until Inauguration Day.
We also saw increased security at our state capitol.
Amy Reed was there today, and she joins us now live with how lawmakers reacted to what happened yesterday. Amy?
Well, extra police officers greeted lawmakers that were going to the assembly today. We also saw additional Capitol Police at the chamber entrances and blocking off stairwells, which is more similar to how police will set up for VIP guests coming to the Capitol. There were also DNR wardens at the entrances to the Capitol. Now, inside the chambers, lawmakers condemned the violence in D.C. and from other protests this past year in a resolution. This morning, the Democrat leader repeated what we've heard a lot the last 24 hours, blaming the politicians who have spread conspiracy theories about the election.
Threatening attack against our democracy is, you can find the seeds of that planted by the rhetoric of our politicians that are, opportunistically feeding it.
I think individuals own their own decisions, right? Just like I don't necessarily say that what happened in Kenosha, that's not somebody else's fault. It's the people who chose to go and protest and made stupid decisions along the way.
Now, at the time, Voss did blame violence in Kenosha, at least in part, on Governor Evers' response. I asked him what he thinks of calls to remove the president from office, and he said it's not up to him. Now, that's different from what we've seen from Democratic legislators who said they sent a letter to Vice President Mike Pence today asking him to invoke the 25th Amendment.
Amy Reed live at the state capitol tonight. Amy, thank you. Republican activists in Wisconsin are denouncing the actions at the United States Capitol that happened yesterday.
Our Adam Duxter spoke to 2 Republican organizers who say this leaves the party itself in a difficult position. Adam?
And the 2 I spoke with say the last 48 hours not only brings problems for the Republican Party in the short term, but when you start looking long term as well. Jay Milkey says he couldn't believe what he saw at the United States Capitol yesterday.
I was quite disturbed when I saw things advance even further to include acts of violence.
Milkey currently serves as the GOP chairman for Rock County, his involvement with the party dating back decades. Today, he says the president's actions are to blame.
I think the president really missed an opportunity to create a lasting impression yesterday. He had an opportunity to bring together the country, unite them. I wish he would have told everybody that this is time to move on.
We're willing to risk our lives!
Brandon Schultz, who used to head up the state's Republican Party, says Trump's actions, including denying his loss in the election and inciting thousands to try and disrupt the certification process, don't represent the Republican Party as a whole.
He tried to make it a party issue. It was not a party issue. This was not the Republican Party speaking. This was not the Republican Party attacking the Capitol.
Both Mielke and Schultz say now the party is looking for common ground in a new identity not centered around the outgoing president.
Why can't somebody in the party just say, look, we're going to move past this. We don't have enough there to pursue any further legal channels on this. So, let's move on and rebuild for the next 2 years. The answer is rather simple. The head of the party is the president. The president's not going to do that. That's why we're in this situation.
And both men said they want to stress what happened yesterday is only representative of a very small portion of the party, if it's representative of the party at all. And they say for our viewers, if you find yourself upset about yesterday's event, the best thing they can recommend to do is to involve yourself in the political process one way, shape, or form.
Adam, thank you. And we're continuing to bring you the latest from the nation's capital. We'll have more on the Capitol siege ahead on News 3 Now at 6, as well as online at channel3000.com.
Well, we could get another round of patchy and freezing fog tonight. Let's get a look at your first warn forecast. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti joins us. He's on the weather patio. Gary?
Well, Eric, at least it shouldn't be as widespread or as thick as it has been the last couple of nights, so that's some good news there. In fact, let's start out by taking a look at the live view from the Platteville-Queen Bee Radio Skycam. Not seeing much in the way of fog over southwestern Wisconsin, so some good news there. As far as visibility right now, seeing visibility at about 5 miles in Monroe, 7 miles in Mineral Point, and all the other major reporting stations still reporting visibility at or above 10 miles over southern Wisconsin. Temperatures are in the upper 20s to around 30 degrees. Here in Madison, we're at 29, 31 right now in Lone Rock, and 34 in Boscobel. By tomorrow morning, we should be down into the lower 20s with clouds and some patchy fog, maybe a little freezing fog that could linger into tomorrow morning. Otherwise, tomorrow will be another cloudy day with a high temperature of 28. Looks like we'll stay cloudy through the weekend, maybe see a little sunshine next week, and our next chance of snow will be at the end of next week. I'll have more details in the forecast in a few minutes.
Gary, thank you. And ahead on News 3 Now at 5, Wisconsin state senators disagree on a coronavirus bill that the state assembly has already passed. We'll have the latest. And coming up tonight on News 3 Now at 6, we ask viewers like you about what you think about Trump supporters laying siege to the U.S. Capitol. We'll have that story next hour on News 3 Now at 6. And on Wall Street today, the Dow eclipses the 31,000 mark for the first time with a 212-point climb. The NASDAQ with a huge 327-point jump, and the S&P adds 56. We'll be right back.
Hey, Tom.
Sheila. Hey, don't take losing the Anderson business personally.
I resigned it, Tom. I guess they didn't tell you about their opossum problem.
I thought it was pronounced possum.
Menards has the brightest ideas for lighting your home. We have thousands of lights to choose from, so you can find the perfect light for your home. This 4,000 lumen LED wrap light is perfect for closets, storage rooms, and offices. Only $69.99. Get a head start on your garden with this LED grow light. The color-changing LEDs keep plants cooler and hydrated longer. It's $49.99 now during Menards Project Day sale.
Save big money at Menards.
Spread holiday cheer and save more than ever at the Century House. Right now, give $50 or more to charity and get $400 off stressless Mayfair recliners in all Paloma leather colors and $300 off most other stressless recliners. Plus, save hundreds more with $200 off every sofa seat you buy. 'Tis the season to give a little and save big on stressless furniture. Shop the Century House, 3420 University Avenue in Madison.
The forecast calls for a messy commute. The Ford lineup helps keep you in command. Intelligent four-wheel drive monitors traction, and a terrain management system adapts to road conditions at the turn of a knob. So you're ready to take on the elements with confidence. Power through the storm in a new Ford Explorer, now with 0% financing for 72 months, plus $4,250 bonus cash. See your Wisconsin dealer today.
At American Family Insurance, we've always protected more than what you drive. We've protected and supported the dreams that drive you. Right now, that means extending our 10% savings on auto premium for all current and new auto customers through March, so you can get a little closer to your dream. Whether your dream is discovering new roads and new limits, or supporting that dream. American Family Insurance. Insure carefully. Dream fearlessly.
Better? Tonight at 6, the fallout begins following yesterday's chaos at the U.S. Capitol building. That includes calls for impeachment and invoking the 25th Amendment. We'll hear what both mean going forward, and local experts tell us if they're realistic possibilities at 6.
Download the Channel 3000 First Warn Weather app today. You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
The Republican-controlled Wisconsin state legislature remains divided on COVID relief.
The Assembly passed a coronavirus response bill, but there are some roadblocks ahead when it comes to the Senate. Our Brady Mallory joins us with a look at the conversation and what Democrats are saying lawmakers need to do. Brady?
Well, lawmakers are calling it the bill that's going nowhere. Though it made it through the Assembly today with a 56-34 vote, the GOP Senate leader says his chamber opposes it. And even if the current bill were to somehow pass the full legislature, Democratic Governor Tony Evers has signaled his opposition and would likely veto the measure. Evers and Assembly Democrats have their own proposals that Republicans don't support. The Assembly Minority Leader criticized having to vote for a bill that the Senate opposes and Evers is likely to veto, and called it an unnecessary political exercise. Assembly Speaker Robin Vos sees it differently.
The idea that some of us haven't been in a room with more than 5 people in 9 months, some of us haven't seen our parents indoors in 9 months, and now we are being asked to, in order to do our job and represent our constituents, be here, is reckless and absurd.
Even with the distribution of a vaccine, our state is still in need of relief. As we battle a faceless enemy, I ask for your support on a bill that will provide much-needed relief to our citizens.
Well, this could leave Wisconsinites waiting for COVID relief, a place they've been in for about 9 months. The legislature hasn't passed anything related to the pandemic since April.
Brady, thank you. Wisconsin is on track to surpass 500,000 confirmed cases of COVID-19 by the end of the week. An additional 3,834 cases of the virus were recorded today, bringing the all-time total to 498,839 confirmed cases. At least 5,177 Wisconsinites have died since March, with 56 new deaths confirmed today. In Dane County, health officials say there is an increase of cases, including an outbreak at the Dane County Department of Corrections facility.
1,345 people have been diagnosed with COVID in the last week. You may have noticed that 753 people were added to our dashboard today. 403 of those individuals are associated with an outbreak at a Dane County Department of Corrections facility.
Health officials say so far, nearly 14,000 Dane County residents have been vaccinated with their first dose of a COVID-19 vaccine.
And vaccinations are continuing across the state, and although Wisconsin is behind other Midwest states, health officials say they are continuing to increase daily vaccinations.
We now have vaccinated a total of 110,201 people with doses of vaccine. In this post-holiday period, we are seeing a significant increase in the number of daily doses. On Monday, we administered about 6,000 first doses statewide. On Tuesday, that rose to about 8,000 first doses, and yesterday, about 11,600 first doses.
And of those 110,000 doses, 5,000 of them are second doses.
To weather now, let's get a check on the forecast with Chief Meteorologist Gary Canolti. Gary?
Well, Susan, the clouds are going to stick around for a while longer. The fog, not as widespread, not as thick. There might still be some freezing fog late at night, early in the morning. Three things you need to know. That trend will continue at least for a couple more nights. We'll still see dry weather through the middle of next week, so not looking for any snow until probably Thursday and Friday of next week, when we'll see some light snow or flurries, and that'll also be accompanied by a shift to colder weather. But with the clouds and the fog, temperatures don't move very much. At night, the fog and the clouds keep temperatures up. In fact, as the moisture condenses, it actually releases a little bit of heat, so that keeps the temperatures up at night. But of course, the clouds and the fog during the day keep the sunshine away and keep the temperatures down. So our temperatures have been holding nearly steady over the last 48 hours in the 20s. Wind chills really haven't been much of a factor because there's not much wind to break up the fog, but that means that the wind chills are very tolerable. And over the next 48 hours, again, those temperatures staying pretty much between 20 and 30 degrees with wind chills perhaps into the teens at time, but nothing colder than that. The live view from the WIC Skycam looking out toward the east, not seeing any fog out there right now, which is good news. The thicker fog, at least for the time being, is out to the west in Minnesota and Iowa, where visibilities are generally between about 5 and 10 miles. A few places like Morris, Minnesota, reporting visibilities less than 3 miles. But notice across Wisconsin, most of the major reporting stations seeing visibilities at or above 10 miles. A few places like Marshfield and La Crosse are between 5 and 10 miles. Snow is still pretty widespread across the Midwest, with temperatures staying at or a little bit below freezing. We're not going to melt very much of this snow, which will keep our temperatures cold, especially as we head into the latter part of next week when the next shot of colder air moves in. Right now, again, the winds have been pretty light, but when we do get a blast of colder air from the north and west, there's nothing really to modify it before it reaches us. So we should see our temperatures turn colder by the end of next week. Right now, temperatures pretty typical for this time of year, 20s to around 30 degrees. We're going to see very similar temperatures through the weekend. But right now, the jet stream's kind of bypassing our part of the Midwest. The main jet stream is now roaring through the southern part of the United States, spinning up a storm to our south, but that will head to the east coast. We're just getting some clouds from it, but most of the precipitation is about from St. Louis southward, and you can see the temperatures across the Midwest. Nothing really warm, nothing really cold, so with not much of a temperature contrast, you really don't see much in the way of any major storminess, and that'll be the case at least through the middle of next week. For tomorrow, mostly cloudy skies, maybe a little fog or freezing fog in the morning, high temperature 28, 7 to 10 day forecast. Those temperatures upper 20s to mid 20s through the early part of next week. More clouds for the weekend, maybe a little sunshine early next week, and then a weather system bringing us some snow chances from Thursday afternoon into Friday. Notice temperatures turning colder as we head into the weekend. Depending on the shot of cold air, we might even have to revise those temperatures downward, but maybe another chance of snow toward the end of the weekend. As we take a look at first warn traffic, right now, not seeing any problems on the Beltline, I-39, 90, 94, or anything of significance on East Washington Avenue, just a few slowdowns around Easttown Shopping Mall. Right now, traffic in either direction on the Beltline, about a 15-minute commute between University Avenue and the interstate and back the other direction. Heading out of Madison from the Beltline southward to Janesville, it'll take you 26 minutes on I-39, 90, 16 minutes to Sauk City on US 12 from Middleton, and from downtown to Sun Prairie, it's a 19-minute commute on East Washington Avenue and US 151. That's your News 3 Now first warn traffic.
Gary, thank you. And ahead on News 3 Now at 5, Aaron Rodgers inching closer to another MVP award, racking up more honors for the month of December. Stay with us.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
My lips get so dry and cracked, I need serious relief. That's why I use O'Keefe's Lip Repair. It's all-day moisture in one use and is guaranteed relief for extremely dry, cracked lips.
Also available in O'Keefe's Working Hands. Guaranteed relief for extremely dry, cracked hands.
There's moving. And there's moving with Move Free Ultra. It has triple action support for your joints, cartilage, and bones. And unlike big glucosamine chondroitin pills, it's all in one tiny pill. Try Move Free Ultra now. Feel the difference.
We made USAA insurance for members like Martin, an Air Force veteran made of doing what's right, not what's easy. So when a hailstorm hit, USAA reached out before he could even inspect the damage.
That's how you do it right.
USAA insurance is made just the way Martin's family needs it. With hassle-free claims, he got paid before his neighbor even got started. Because doing right by our members, that's what's right. USAA. What you're made of, we're made for.
USAA.
Now through January 7th, join Planet Fitness for no enrollment. $10 a month, no commitment. 2020 is over. Start 2021 with tons of ways to get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. And spread out while you work out with cardio distancing and our new crowd meter. Plus, use our app to get moving anywhere. Your fitness is essential, so kick things off with the year's best deal. Join for no enrollment, $10 a month, no commitment. Deal ends January 7th.
5 Madison area locations. Sign up for $10 a month. Stop in today.
Dear Winter, I'm coming. My squad of 15 vehicles with all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive is ready to take you on. Safety's the name of my game, so you better bundle up. Toyota.
Right now, get $1,500 customer cash on a new 2021 Highlander Hybrid. Visit Toyota.com to learn more. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Millions of customers are leaving their providers and switching to Spectrum. And if you have satellite, it's not hard to see why. Because unlike satellite, Spectrum gives you all the services you need, like internet and TV from one provider.
They do?
Yeah, they do. And Spectrum has the fastest download speeds with the most reliable performance. Get Spectrum Internet with speeds at 200 megabits for $44.99 a month. Call 833-909-4499. Spectrum wins on TV, too. Unlike satellite, Spectrum doesn't have an ugly dish to install. And you get exclusive premium original content with Spectrum Originals.
Wow, really?
Really. Plus, Spectrum has more free HD and free on demand. Get Spectrum TV from $44.99 a month. Call 833-909-4499. And unlike satellite providers, Spectrum doesn't have contracts or early termination fees. We'll even buy out your current contract up to $500. Switch to America's fastest growing internet, TV, and voice provider. Get Spectrum Internet and TV from $44.99 a month each. Ask about our easy self-install options. Call 833-909-4499.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
We have some breaking news from the nation's capital. The Capitol Police Chief in Washington, D.C. is resigning in the wake of Trump supporters breaching the Capitol. Chief Stephen Sund said police had planned for a free speech demonstration and did not expect the violent attack. He resigned after House Speaker Nancy Pelosi called on him to step down.
Well, one of the top candidates to be NFL MVP has been named NFC Offensive Player of the Month for December. Of course, that's Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers, named Offensive Player of the Month for the final month of the regular season. In the Packers' 5 games in December, Rodgers threw for 15 touchdowns with just 1 interception, completed 76% of his passes for over 1,000 yards. Those stats produced a 131.9 passer rating. This is the 9th time in his career that Aaron Rodgers has been named the NFC Offensive Player of the Month. Stay with us. We'll have a final check of your First Warn forecast in just a moment.
It's your last chance for Furniture and Appliance Mart's New Year's appliance deals. Save huge on top brand appliances, including top brand doorbusters like these. Plus, no interest for 18 months and quick ship delivery at Furniture and Appliance Mart inside Ashley Home Store off the Beltline.
Is your credit score getting in the way of the things you want to do? Personal loans through NetCredit offer fast and flexible lending. Borrow up to $10,000 and choose repayment terms that work for you. You may even be able to build your credit history as you repay. NetCredit, a more personal loan.
At GHC, we want you to be safer at home. We have more ways for you to get care anywhere, anytime, day or night. Be seen, be safe, be home. We will get through this together, and we will all get better together.
Love lower than low prices? Then get more ways to save at Pick and Save, where you can find personalized coupons, weekly deals, and rewards like fuel points. All for prices that are lower than low. On food that's fresher than fresh. Pick and Save, fresh for everyone.
Culver's is a family restaurant. To me, that means being the place that puts a smile on everyone's face. We're famous for our cooked-to-order butter burgers and frozen custard made daily inside our restaurants. But we've always believed more menu options mean more ways to brighten your day. We source the finest chicken to bring you our tenders and chicken sandwiches. And our cheese curds. They're a Wisconsin tradition we're proud to share with you. So take the next meal shift off and let us take care of you. Welcome to Delicious.
The forecast calls for a messy commute. The Ford lineup helps keep you in command. Intelligent four-wheel drive monitors traction, and a terrain management system adapts to road conditions at the turn of a knob. So you're ready to take on the elements with confidence. Power through the storm in a new Ford Explorer, now with 0% financing for 72 months, plus $4,250 bonus cash. See your Wisconsin dealer today.
You're up early.
Well, U.S. Cellular is giving away the latest phones for free with no hidden requirements, so I did not want to miss it.
Actually, you can get the latest phones free all season long.
What? All season long, huh?
Yep, and no hidden requirements.
You in the market for any camping gear? Only been used once.
At U.S. Cellular, get the latest phones free with the plan of your choice and no required phone trade-ins all season long. U.S. Cellular. Upgrade to fair.
It's your last chance for the Ashley Home Store New Year's sale. Shop exclusive deals through Tuesday only, including doorbusters available for immediate pickup and delivery, plus interest-free financing for 5 years, and a bonus 5% discount off our sale prices. Only at Ashley Home Store.
Well, there's our visibility. You can see right now at or above 10 miles north and pretty much from Madison on toward the north and east, and just between 5 and 10 miles to the south and west. Temperatures right now upper 20s to the lower 30s, and look for temperatures to drop to the low 20s by tomorrow morning. Maybe a little fog in the morning. Look for cloudy skies tomorrow with a high of 28.
Gary, thanks. We're back in 30 minutes for News 3 Now at 6. CBS Evening News is next.